Hi everybody, welcome. Welcome to Seniors' Rights Service. Before I start proceedings, I'd just like to welcome to the podium or to the lectern Uncle Chika, who will do a welcome to country. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, folks. My name is Charles Madden, but known around the inner city of Sydney as Chika. Now, that's a nickname that I got many, many years ago going to Redfern Public School, which is now NCIE, the National Centre for Indigenous Excellence. Folks, I'm from Gadigal land. Aboriginal land, that's the land we're on at the moment. For many, many years, I've lived and worked around the city of Sydney. I've been involved with many different Aboriginal organisations over the years. I've been a director with the Aboriginal Medical Service at Redfern for over 40 years. Also a director with the Redfern Aboriginal Housing Company, Aboriginal Hostels Australia, and the Metropolitan Local Aboriginal Land Council, where I am still a very active member. I've got to mention it, folks. Also a life member of the Redfern All Blacks Rugby League Football Club. Folks, for many, many years I've lived and worked around the city of Sydney. I'd like to take this opportunity this morning to extend a warm and sincere welcome to any of my Aboriginal brothers and sisters, non-Aboriginal brothers and sisters. If we have any brothers and sisters here from the Torres Strait or further or far across the seas, welcome. Welcome to Gadigal land. The Gadigal clan is one of 29 that makes up the Eora Nation. The Eora Nation is bordered by 3 distinctive landmarks. We have the Hawkesbury River to the north, the Nepean to the west, and the Georges River to the south. Those 3 rivers form the boundaries of the Eora Nation. Folks, if you've travelled across this great city of ours today, the state or this great country, or from afar, welcome. Welcome to Gadigal land. Enjoy your stay. Have a safe and trouble-free trip home. Once again, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you. Enjoy the day, folks. Thank you.
Hi everybody. Thank you, Uncle Chika, and thanks for your warm welcome to Gadigal land. And as you said yesterday, actually, always was, always will be. Thank you very much. So my name's Russell Westacott. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Seniors' Rights Service. I too would like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, not only to the Gadigal people but all the nations across New South Wales, given Seniors' Rights Service is a statewide organisation and works across the state. A big thanks also to the Honourable Tanya Davies, Minister for Ageing, for being here today and for the ongoing support her and her team offers Seniors' Rights Service. We appreciate your engagement with our organisation and thank you very much. Also, thanks to everybody here today for coming along and again supporting Seniors' Rights Service. There's many familiar faces in the room and thanks for your ongoing support for our organisation as well. And welcome to people who are watching via live webcast, hopefully many thousands, tens of thousands. Anyway, being a bit ambitious, but good to have people tuning in. Great to have people online and connected to this event and indeed other events that we'll be doing here at Seniors' Rights Service. Today we are launching a new educational video that we developed at the 5th National Elder Abuse Conference in February. At that conference, well-known journalist Ellen Fanning did 18 videos with key speakers. As of today, the videos are on both the Seniors' Rights Service website and also the dedicated conference website, and that website's called Together Making Change, the conference tagline. The project is titled Insights and Perspectives into Elder Abuse. So please look out for the videos on both of those websites. This project is innovative. Along with the videos, we will offer individuals and community groups some simple tools to empower people across diverse communities around New South Wales to have their own conversations about elder abuse. In New South Wales, there are 1.4 million older people. At the 5th National Elder Abuse Conference, a number of social researchers suggested that the prevalence of elder abuse in Australia is likely to be around 10%. That means in the New South Wales context, there are probably about 140,000 people who are experiencing elder abuse. With these numbers, organisations like Seniors' Rights Service and the New South Wales Elder Abuse Helpline, who we work very closely with, obviously cannot reach everyone, nor has the capacity of these services to meet the needs of all these people. The purpose of our new educational resource is for individuals to access the material via the web so that people across the state can self-facilitate groups and community discussions about elder abuse. We want to empower local communities to take the lead, and we hope they will find these tools useful. To truly tackle elder abuse, we need family conversations, community conversations, and of course, national conversations. Yesterday, Seniors' Rights Service hosted the launch of Elder Abuse Action Australia, and that organisation, in part, will advance national debates and conversations about elder abuse. We hope the resources that we'll be launching today add to and build upon smaller grassroots conversations. Given elder abuse occurs within families and by other people of trust to the older person, smaller focused conversations are essential. After all, of those 140,000 people across New South Wales alone, I have no doubt that each of us in this room knows somebody in our community, in our neighbourhood, or perhaps even a family member who is a victim of elder abuse. It's just that we are not aware of it because of the stigma and shame and because it is such a hidden and taboo topic for many. It's all of our responsibilities to be talking about elder abuse. I hope this project sparks and facilitates some of those conversations around our various communities and across the state. With that, I'd like to hand it over to Minister Davies, and thanks again for being here for the launch for this innovative new community resource. Thank you.
Thank you, Russell. Good morning to you all. Thank you, Uncle Chika, for your welcome to country. I can't see him in the room, but thank you very much. It was wonderful to hear your perspective on your upbringing, and always enriches the understanding of the connection that we as new Australians have with our Indigenous community and the land. So thank you very much. And Russell, there is nothing wrong with ambition. And so to the hundreds of thousands of people watching on the web channel, welcome. So I too would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands upon which we meet, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to elders both past and present and emerging. So today is obviously a very significant day, World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. And it's significant that it's on today that we get to launch additional resources to further support and enhance the ability of our community to deal with and challenge and tackle this issue of elder abuse. And it's important that we continue to shine the light on what is happening in our homes, in our streets, in our communities and suburbs against older people in our community. And I'm sure you all agree with me that the abuse of older people is utterly and completely intolerable. There is absolutely no justification. It is an horrendous act to consider being perpetrated, particularly because so many of our older members of our community have given so much to this nation to bring us to where we are today. And that recognition and that respect for what they have done to elevate us to where we are today ought to be responded to with respect, with appreciation and with value. And so I want to thank Russell and the Seniors' Rights Service for organising this event on this very important day. And I want to congratulate the Seniors' Rights Service on the release of their new online education kits, which we will see shortly, and the interviews conducted by ABC's Ellen Fanning. The interviews were held at the very successful 5th National Elder Abuse Conference hosted by the Seniors' Rights Service in February this year, and I had the pleasure of attending that conference, albeit very briefly. But it was very encouraging to see the large numbers of people in attendance at that conference. This message is getting out there. This reality of what many in our communities are experiencing is starting to be acknowledged and recognised, and a collective voice is rising to state that we need to tackle this collectively, and we are joining arms and joining our hands to that end. And so the education kits will provide an invaluable tool for raising community awareness and understanding of the issue of elder abuse. And as a community, we all know we are living longer. So it is in the best interest of the whole community that we continue to value the contribution of people as they age. And what I say when I go about in my role as Minister for Ageing is that I actually have a vested interest in this area, because one day I will be old, and I may very well need to be in a community that is aware, it is informed, it is armed with the responses needed to protect people like me and the people that are coming after me and the people coming after them. This is a community that we all need to protect now, and more so in the future as we get more and more people who are in that aged cohort. And that's why the New South Wales Government is committed to making sure older people in this state experience the benefits of living longer. And this includes making sure people can continue to participate in their community as they get older, and that they can live free from abuse and neglect. As many of us here know, the abuse of older people is not only a disturbing issue, it is also a very complex issue. And strategies to address abuse must be holistic, and we must work to reduce ageism and address social isolation. Acknowledging elder abuse and talking with people who are impacted by it or who support those people who are helps us to realise that the abuse of older people is everyone's business. And that's why I was so pleased to see so many people in attendance at the conference in February this year, and also for Russell to hand me the documentation that was compiled after that conference and see 70 different stakeholders all agreeing to what are the essential components of a national response to elder abuse. That demonstrates the strength of the community in working together, because governments alone cannot do this. You know, the police alone cannot tackle this. We need to work together, each doing our own part, learning from each other and growing in strength together. So from government to business to financial institutions to care services, all the way through to our local neighbourhoods, protecting older people from abuse really is something that we all have a stake in. The title for the event today really says it all. Let's stop elder abuse together. Innovation and empowerment. And it captures the importance of broadening the focus and conversation about elder abuse. It reinforces the notion that societal change in the prevention of elder abuse requires a coordinated and a collaborative approach. And I'm proud to be a part of the government that introduced the state's first ever Elder Abuse Helpline and Resource Unit in 2013, which has given people across New South Wales access to support and resources to address instances of elder abuse. And I also know, and Russell has also acknowledged, that the helpline and Seniors' Rights Service work closely together, and that's really to be commended. But on that point, can I just remind you all that not everybody knows all the help that's out there. And I give you an example. I was in the car a couple of months back and I was listening to Alan Jones on 2GB, and the topic of elder abuse was being discussed, and Alan Jones was saying, there's just nothing to help people. There's just nowhere for them to go. People are stuck, isolated at home. And I went, yes, there is. So I pulled up my mobile and I rang his producer and I got on the phone. I said, it's Tanya Davies, Minister for Ageing. There is a phone number. There is a helpline, a resource unit. This is the number. This is the website. Please send that across your airways. And I just hung up. I didn't need to be interviewed. I just hung up. So I just want the information out there. And wonderfully, within a few minutes, Alan Jones then repeated that number out across the airways. Ladies and gentlemen, that was only a few months ago. The helpline has been established since 2013 or 2018. It's 5 years long. We still have a way to go to ensure that the community knows services and assistance such as the Seniors' Rights Service and the helpline are there and available. So over the last 5 years, we know the helpline has received nearly 10,000 phone calls. And of these calls, half involve adult children as the perpetrators of abuse. And that's worrying as well as just almost unbelievable and intolerable. And the theme for today's event is exactly what the New South Wales government is investing in, stopping elder abuse together. So today, on World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, the New South Wales Elder Abuse Helpline and Resource Unit has launched a new awareness campaign. And this campaign will focus on some of the common forms of abuse perpetrated by adult children against their parents, and aims to call out common behaviours that constitute elder abuse in the hope that perpetrators recognise their behaviours, recognise it as abuse, and therefore make changes. It's concerning that they even have a name for the common form of abuse, which is financial abuse, and they call it inheritance impatience. The fact that it's so common it now has a name is very concerning. And the campaign being launched today will also reach out to victims to help them recognise abuse that may be occurring to them and let them know that support is just a phone call away. And today I'm also pleased to announce that a dashboard will go live today on the Family and Community Services website, which will contain data regarding the activities of the Elder Abuse Helpline and Resource Unit. And transparency around data is a key priority of this government. And the dashboard addresses a recommendation of the Elder Abuse Inquiry for an active commitment to building the evidence around this policy. And I'm so pleased today to launch the New South Wales Government's progress report into the response to the 2016 Parliamentary inquiry into elder abuse. And we've taken the findings of the inquiry very, very seriously, and I'm pleased to advise that we have made substantial progress in implementing those recommendations. The report highlights the Year 1 achievements made towards implementing the recommendations supported by the government. So one of those highlights is the review of the New South Wales interagency policy for the prevention and responding to the abuse of older people. And today I'm also launching that policy. It's another example of the New South Wales government embracing a comprehensive approach to elder abuse with a rights-based framework for older people. We remain committed to strengthening the service system that assists members of our community who are experiencing elder abuse. And we are also working with our state and federal colleagues. So last October, the New South Wales government committed $1.3 million over 2 years for the Elder Abuse Helpline and Resource Unit, continuing its funding through to June 2019. We also announced funding of almost $200,000 towards the first stage of the Commonwealth Government's $900,000 National Elder Abuse Research Agenda. And this is part of the federal government's national plan to protect the rights of older Australians. And I understand that the Federal Attorney-General, Christian Porter, was here just yesterday to launch the Elder Abuse Action Australia Network, and Russell's already mentioned that. So there's a considerable amount of work already underway, and with our ageing population, the importance of this work is only gaining pace. It is completely unacceptable that people are taking advantage of our older people in our community, and even more so when those people are family members. And those older people have given and contributed so much over their lifetime. So once again, I thank you all for being here. I thank you for the roles that you play in your individual sphere within our community, for the influence that you are driving, for the collaborations that you are building, for the connectivity and the networks that you are establishing, because together we can battle and defeat this insidious problem, the insidious occurrence of elder abuse in our communities. But it's only together. And you being here demonstrates your willingness and your preparedness to join arms to fight this battle. And I look forward to hearing the ongoing positive outcomes from today's events. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Minister. Thank you very much. So now we're just going to have a short compilation of the 18 videos that we've put together in 5 minute thereabouts, a 5-minute compilation. We're going to be screening it here, and then from there we'll break out into the panel discussion, which Dr. Keith Suter will be facilitating. So we'll go straight to the videos, and I'll leave that with you, Jane. Great.
The focus seems to swing back onto aged care residences and formal care settings and victimisation by paid carers, when really it's going to be someone's son, daughter or grandson that is going to provide them the greatest risk.
And that's complicated and messy, right?
Immensely, absolutely, because you've got an older person who's inherently proud of their sons and their daughters and their granddaughters and what they've achieved, and have raised them and tried to teach them the ways of the world and give them values to go ahead and succeed. And all of a sudden they're stealing their home and their possessions, and they're violently assaulting them, or they're preventing them from going to church and seeing their friends or to Rotary, and by cutting off these networks, they isolate them and then exploit them. So the barriers to preventing is terrible, and it's also this perception with policing is that once you call the police, we turn up, we kick down doors, we lock everybody up, we cause a ruckus in this blunt, brutal manner. It's not true.
Either or.
Absolutely. We're quite nuanced now. I think our systems are really mindful of the need to be respectful of the needs and wishes of the person that calls us.
We had an issue recently of a person ringing up a service that was going to mediate for a woman who was in a nursing home, and the nursing home said, "Oh, you can't come because the power of attorney says you can't have visitors." And they said, "Well, would you like to test that? We're lawyers." And they went, well, you better come. A power of attorney has no right to restrict an older person having visitors. It's about looking after somebody or assisting somebody to care for their resources, their money, in a way that takes into account the older person's wants and needs and involvement. You shouldn't take away somebody's autonomy.
Are there particular vulnerabilities for the LGBTQI community?
Yes, the particular vulnerability is the deal that was made during their growing up between society and them. You keep quiet about your sexual orientation. You keep it strictly to yourself. Do not confront us with the awful reality of your difference, and we'll leave you alone.
I think the Deputy Prime Minister at one stage said, "Don't shove it in my face," I think was the expression he used during the marriage equality debate. So that was a reiteration of the deal.
Yes, exactly. And that is in the minds of most LGBTIQ people of my age and 20 years younger than my age. That is what they grew up with. So that as they get older, they have the disadvantage that often they don't have the same family arrangements. They've not been given the same rights to marriage and relationship recognition. They've had to live in isolation and in silence about their relationships, and therefore they internalise the feeling of less worth. So you can change the laws, but that doesn't do the trick. You've got to somehow have people in the aged care help area that will be aware of this particular problem and will be striving to overcome it.
I am looking at 48-year-old women that are grandmothers, thinking they can go back to work, and now they're custodial grandmothers.
So suddenly that they're not looking after the kids, they're bringing up the kids.
Yes, absolutely. And you get a lot of government workers who just assume that the grandmother will take the children if there's a problem in the family. I can't imagine that in the non-Aboriginal community, that, you know, non-Aboriginal women who have gone through raising their families would be, the government would go and say, well, you can take the kids now.
You can back up and do it again.
Yes. Not that in our culture it's okay, but then again it's not okay because the pressure is the expectation. So I look at the women I work with and I'm trying desperately to guide them away from a negative ageing experience, because at least if a few of them have gone to university and TAFE, and at least if they've got education, they can think it through and use emotional intelligence as a way to deal with it.
Someone can't just walk in and pretend to represent you as a customer and make transactions on your account. They have to have some form of documentation. But staff often see this unfolding in the branch. You know, they see an elderly person, maybe being spoken to in a way by somebody that would indicate that perhaps this is not an entirely healthy or consensual set of financial arrangements. Where a bank staff member suspects that a document might have been forged, then of course they would notify the police and the police could take some action.
In a sense, that's the easy circumstance.
That's right. The much harder thing is, did this person understand what they were giving consent to? Did they understand that the powers that they were giving this person would be used often to make very large transactions that are depleting the account?
Does age make a particular woman more vulnerable to sexual abuse, or typically have these women been enduring sexual abuse for decades?
I think it's actually a little bit of both. There are older women who've been enduring sexual abuse all their lives. There are some older women who remarry and find themselves in a relationship where the partner's abusive. And that's really that intimate partner abuse. But we know as well too from the research that sexual abuse happens in the context of institutions. So predominantly residential aged care, but also too in acute care, in rehab, in day centres.
What happens?
Largely speaking, it seems to be service provider abuse, sexual abuse by service provider. And then there are stories as well that have been shared with us in the research work that we've done where older women have been sexually assaulted by another resident in a residential aged care facility.